In life, some are given easier problems than others. Getting through life, succeeding, and enjoying the whole ride may seem like a struggle for many. But there are some who make everything look easy, even when they themselves are struggling. In this book, we learn how Robert Iger went from a production assistant at ABC to becoming the CEO of Disney. Various tips and tricks on how to navigate life can be learned in this book. Here are the top 7 lessons from the ride of a lifetime by Robert Iger. Lesson 1. Grab opportunities. We love being couch potatoes. Nothing really beats staying indoors and just relaxing. Although this is a good breather from our daily stresses, we sometimes have to get moving to get somewhere. This was the same for Robert Iger. When he was 23, his uncle was in the hospital and was rooming with someone who worked at ABC. Not knowing anything better, his uncle asked if his nephew Robert Iger could work there too. Not too long after, Robert was offered a job as a production assistant, and he quickly grabbed the opportunity. Whenever something presents itself to us, it's important to stop double-guessing ourselves and to just jump in and make the most out of it. Young Robert Iger did exactly this. He worked hard and even made connections, and was eventually transferred to ABC Sports. Lesson 2. Stay creative. After a decade of working at ABC, we'd think Robert Iger would be out of his creative juices. But this wasn't the case. In 1988, he was met by another problem, when warm weather melted the snow for the Winter Olympics. With no events to broadcast, Iger had to think of a brilliant idea to avoid low ratings. And to do this, he focused interviews on the athletes' stories. This was such a hit that Iger was promoted to become the president of ABC's entertainment division. It's vital for us to keep rolling the ball and to keep ourselves thinking. Once we become complacent, we become unimaginative and unresourceful. These were traits Robert Iger never showed in his journey to success. Lesson 3. Adapt. In our lives, there will always be a low point. We think that maybe quitting will make everything better, but quitting never really brought anyone anywhere. This was also experienced by Robert Iger. In 1994, he became the chief operating officer of ABC. However, after 2 years, Disney bought ABC. There, Iger was placed as the head of Disney's media division. Disney wasn't doing really well since it was still wounded from high-budget box office disasters like Hercules. Not only that, but Disney's CEO was also starting to form a rift with Pixar. To give background, Pixar had been responsible for Disney's largest hits, like Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. Not to mention that this was also around the 9/11 World Trade Center attacks, where the stock market saw large losses. In frustrating times like that, Iger had 2 choices, sink or swim. And of course, he decided to swim. Lesson 4. Be prepared. Since we now know that we have to keep trying to navigate life, it also helps to be ready when we decide to do things. This was also exemplified by Robert Iger. When the then CEO of Disney was starting to fall off the rails due to his bad decisions and ill relationship with Pixar, Iger had his eyes on the prize. Because of this, he hired a consultant and devised a plan on how to win Disney's board to his side. He had a 3-pronged strategy, which was to put Disney's talent and resources towards acquiring brands and films, to start inroads with emerging markets in India and China, and to explore new products and technologies. His planning worked and he became the CEO of Disney in 2005. As we can see, whenever we want to achieve something in life, we have to work for it. We have to put in the preparations and the time. Lesson 5. Fix what's broken. There are times in our lives when we have to fix something we didn't even break. May it be an actual vase, persons, or relationships. This was the same thing Iger had to go through when he decided to make amends with the then Pixar CEO Steve Jobs. At the time, Pixar and Disney still hadn't made amends, and this manifested in Disney's animation. To do this, Iger called Steve Jobs and tried to make the 2 companies' relationships better. Iger only succeeded after convincing Jobs to sell Pixar to Disney, while keeping Pixar's creative freedom, intellectual property, and creative output intact. By doing this, Iger successfully closed any rifts between the companies and set Disney up for all its commercial and critical successes. In life, we also have to be conscious about the relationships we keep and break. For the most part, we should do our best in keeping relationships and to fix what we can. Lesson 6. Keep expanding. With any business, it's important to keep expanding and to have an appetite for risk. Well, this is the same for Iger. He didn't only stop at buying Pixar. Due to his creative views, he also had Disney buy Marvel. He saw the long-term opportunity to build characters in Marvel's profile. And because of this, Disney produced numerous Marvel movies from 2009 to 2019 and produced half a dozen Netflix shows. Through characters like Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Panther, Disney became even more of a giant and sold billions of dollars worth of merchandise, all because of Iger's steady plan of expanding the enterprise. Lesson 7. Stay with the trends. For different companies to survive, they have to keep evolving. Just like us people, we've all seen so many trends in our lives, and we've kept up with them one way or another. This is the same for Iger. To survive, he understood that Disney had to keep up with everything around it, may it be changing its logo or modernizing its views. In 2016, he noticed that streaming services were the next big thing, especially with the rise of Netflix, which was followed suit by Apple and Amazon. Because of this, Disney bought part of a baseball streaming service and started to build platforms to provide distribution for companies like HBO and Riot Games. Today we have Disney Plus, where people can stream their favorite Disney shows whenever and wherever they want. It pays off to keep working and assessing our surroundings. To be successful, we can't keep holding ourselves down, just because of the generational difference. In conclusion, Robert Iger's career shows us that taking risks and grabbing opportunities most certainly pays off. From a production assistant to becoming the CEO of one of the biggest media giants, we can see that it is possible to work our way up the corporate ladder and to succeed. With the help of bold choices, enough planning, and guts, we can all become our own versions of a Robert Iger. Are you a risk taker? To what extent would you be able to risk something for your career? Tell me in the comments section. Thank you for listening. If you like the book summary and you want to see more in this category, please like and subscribe so I can create more. You can also get a free copy of the entire audiobook by clicking the link in the description. Until next time.